This is the Metal Roofing Learning Channel, brought to you by Western States Metal Roofing.
Are you a designer or architect and want to incorporate these panels into your next project? Western States Metal Roofing has made it easy. Simply download our free 3D Smart Textures to create photorealistic images in your 3D design software now.
All right, so today I'm here with Jay Shimp from Authenticus Services, and this is really one of the most unique and innovative architectural products I've seen in a long time. So Jay, why don't you tell us, well, why don't you start with kind of explaining what is Authenticus and what do you guys do over there?
Sure. So Authenticus is it's Latin for to authenticate and to be authenticate and stuff like that. And so, my background was custom building, and because I was custom building, I was constantly running into change orders or clients not able to visually see something. And so every job, there was something, whether it was big or small, there was something that they just couldn't visualize until we started physically building it. And over 10 to 15 years of that continuously happened, there had to be something better. And I just started making me research and seeing what kind of technology is out there. And that's kind of where this started to formulate from was, how do we authenticate or let visualizations help, this kind of archaic industry, which, we call residential construction or the construction industry as a whole.
Now you've got multiple products. Why don't you kind of just briefly describe what Authenticus does, how it makes it easier to visualize your construction project?
Sure. So we start with a projecting studio, and I actually have it, and I'm not sure if I can do a quick little tour here.
Yeah.
But as you walk into your studio here, you quickly now have a house, if you can see, everywhere. And so you see everything to scale. And what this is what we call spatial design. And in spatial design, you can physically feel the space. And so in there, we're using our software, proprietary software that allows us to take plans and project them to scale, 100% accuracy, and also allow us to edit things as we work through it. But that's just kind of the starting point. Then we have all this furniture that you could possibly find in a house, even a toilet on wheels or even bathtub and couches and chairs, but everything's on wheels. It allows you to physically mock up the space. And now you can spatially feel, is this space too big? Is it too small? Is there a corner that I'm going to get a hip check because, the distance between the kitchen island and the refrigerator is actually, not as big as what you thought it was because we were physically able to mock it up. These are things that people find out when they physically walk here. And we've had that 99 out of 100 times. When you walk in here, you might have looked at the plan 100 times, but when you physically are able to walk it, there's always something that kind of comes out. And sometimes it's a little thing, sometimes it's a huge thing. One quick example is we had somebody that stood in the shower. We physically mocked up a shower, and they stood in it with their wife and realized, holy smokes, like this is way smaller than what we thought it was. So in this stage, it's just moving, lines. You're not in physical construction yet. So we were able to make the shower 2 feet bigger, and that allowed them to have that space that they now felt comfortable in. Well, if they would have experienced that in the middle of construction or even at the end of construction, that could have been tens of thousands of dollars of a change.
So, okay, so your main location is in Houston, Texas, right?
Our headquarters is in Houston. We are literally opening globally. So we have locations popping up. Our newest one that's going to be popping up will be Dallas, and that will be within the next two to 3 months.
So if I have a project that I want to visualize, I go to one of your locations and do it. I can see that that's the best way to do it. But you were talking about how you can use your iPad and without coming to your location do it. I think I understood most of that. Can you kind of explain how that portion of the business works also?
Yeah, so our augmented reality is app-based. So it's just an app. It's in the stores, and it's free. You can literally download our Authenticus AR app and be able to play around with some of our test models that we have in there. And we have houses, we have commercial buildings, we got animals. I mean, pretty much anything that you can put 3D in there, it can be done as long as we have a 3D model. And then it allows you to scale to be able to see it in any environment. The idea behind that was originally kind of like a COVID idea. Honestly, it was, how do you get people to walk houses, multiple houses for that matter, without ever leaving their house? The thought is, how do we allow people to physically see stuff, whether it's a remodel job or new construction. Virtual tours also is all web-based. That is something that also can be done in our visualizer, which is something that, we were mentioning as well, which all that requires is, uploading a photo and allowing people to literally see their house or their building, even with your product, being able to take a picture, put in our visualizer, and then seeing their building with your products on there and all the different colors, so that's, again, visualizations we're taking that. So those 3 services, those can be done anywhere, literally anywhere.
Oh, that's great news. What is, just out of curiosity, I understand the end cost savings from not making mistakes, but what does it cost generally to come to the studio and do one of these, just out of curiosity?
Sure. So we charge for time here at the studio. So it doesn't matter how big your project is. I mean, if it's 1,000 square feet or 40,000 square feet, it doesn't matter. We're able to project 3,600 square feet at one time, and then we can scan and panorama to the other parts of the plan. So it's all based on time. So we generally charge, around $500 per hour. Basically is kind of that. So you can be spending around, average is 2 hours. You could spend $1,000 roughly.
That's a bargain. I mean, compared to what you're going to save from mistakes, I mean, I don't see how you could go wrong with that.
Yep. And that's just our studio too. So, I mean, our other services, it's just building a 3D model, which, those costs are anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, and then plugging into our augmented reality. So a general package, if you wanted all of our services, or somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000, if you wanted to literally experience all of our technologies for your project. I mean, that's about probably the average.
What is needed from the contractors or from the contractor or architect's point of view to get this going?
Yeah, so we work with a lot of architects and builders. If we're doing a 3D model, we either need a 3D model or we will build a 3D model. So we need a CAD file. So, I mean, if you're design any project, you're going to get CAD files from an architect or builder or whoever's involved.
So we have 3D smart textures that, for the mock-ups like you're talking about, the color visualizers and house visualizers, you're able to drop them in even for the 3D models. Can you use those 3D smart textures in your mock-ups? Does it make it easier?
Oh, yeah. So when we build a model, we're going to use 3ds Max. That's the software that we use to build the model. And that is a very in-depth software for 3D modeling.
We work with Stacy Lynn, who does barndominiums, and I think I heard that she had an event over here where she displayed some of her barndominiums and such.
We are going to show a new barn plan every 30 minutes. And so when people walk in, we're going to have a new plan on the floor. And on that plan on the floor, we will have it completely staged out so people can physically walk through the barndominiums that she's showing off. On the walls, we're going to have video playing of a flyby of that specific property. So that's on one wall. The other wall is going to have some elevations and kind of just spinning through the elevations. And then the other wall is just going to have just about the company and slides happening about that. And then on the floor, we're going to have little virtual stations where you're going to be able to, whether with goggles or with augmented reality, you're going to be able to actually also walk the same plan as you kind of go through it. And so you can be able to see the rest of the detail in there. So that's kind of how that's happening. And we're, having food and music and all that stuff while it's all happening.
So Jay, if somebody wants to work with Authenticus, how do they get a hold of you?
There's a lot of different ways. You can either book an appointment or a tour, or book a call, or you can just get on our newsletter. So we have a bunch of ways. So if you go on our website and contact us, that allows, however you want to get a hold of us. that would be the easiest, quickest way to do that.
Want to learn more? Check out these videos.